We've got Mark Waid. Oh, we got Mark Waid on. We're going live with Mark Waid on. Leo, hit the button because I don't know what I'm doing. Do. Mark Waid.
Is the one obvious thing.
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. You are watching Splash Pages. And you know what? You don't want to see me. We're going to go right into it. So, Carrie, how's it going?
Go good, everybody. Hello. Welcome to Splash Pages. You might have heard we have a great guest on tonight. Somebody we met before. Somebody we hydrate. Somebody that we love. Drew, would you like to do the full introduction?
I would. Hello. Greetings, everybody. And I just want to let you know, in between our guest coming and the intro, I did change my shirt. It was a quick costume change, and now I'm sweaty and doing the news. Hello, everyone. It's Tuesday. But that's about me. So we're back. It's Tuesday. You had nothing better to do, and you also are excited for our guest. He needs no introduction, so I'm going to keep this brief. He's done a lot. DC, Marvel, other stuff. He's been a writer. He's been an editor. He's extremely good-humored, and he decided he was going to come back for round 3 with us. The one, the only, the man who definitely puts a lot of value into the Diet Coke company.
No, here I am. Hey, that's my cue. Hey.
We're
Mark
not
Waid.
worthy. We're not worthy.
Leo, stop it.
That's a beautiful introduction that I'll remember for as long as I can.
So, yeah, Mark, I have a question to ask you. I just want to start off thing. Yeah. There is a rumor going around I think we need to debunk. Okay. The rumor is that you are indeed not real, that you are former DC editor-in-chief Dan DiDio, and that is a very convincing face-off style mask. Is this true?
No. Good news. No.
Okay. Myth busted, everybody. I'm sorry. The great and possibly psychotic, but lovable Chip Zdarsky discussed this, and we figured since we had you on, we would kind of debunk that and get the clickbait one.
The name Chip. What was the name?
Carrie, do you want to take this one? I think you speak his language.
Yeah. Chip. So the very interestingly, completely insane Chip Zdarsky. It's hard to pronounce. Zdarsky. Yeah,
okay. Is he a working pro? Should I know this name?
He's only got like, I don't know, right now he's only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books coming out, I think, right now that he's doing. He's not a real big deal. You shouldn't totally worry about it that he's talking about you.
I
He
predict. I predict. I wish the best for him, and I predict good things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's finishing his run on is it Botman?
If you're
Yeah.
out there,
Mhm.
if you're out there, Chip, it was Chip, right? If you're out there,
Mhm.
Chip,
yeah.
I keep on trucking and reach for live the dream.
Oh my.
Just
Oh God, that
Chip,
was so beautifully done.
you done messed up, man. I mean, we were talking about Chip last night when we were doing the news because he's also had some stuff going on with Mr. North over the pronunciation of Namor, Namor, and we just wanted to clear the air. He's had a couple things to say lately that are kind of crazy.
I say Ryan
But
North,
yeah.
awesome writer. Ryan North, best Fantastic Four since 20 years. I mean, I really enjoyed. There's been some good runs, but Ryan's stuff is terrific. And I say that partly because we come up from the same angle. We're both science geeks.
Mhm.
And I brought a lot of science to FF when I did it, and he's doing the same thing, and I love that.
It's awesome.
So just real quick, for those of you that are a bit lost, we're referencing Chip's Substack. So if you get a chance to check it out, it's a bit cray, but it's a entertaining read.
Oh.
You know.
Yeah, it's always.
Oh my.
I'm a big fan of Chip on the weird because Chip is the reason I'm on this show. Actually, the first appearance that I got to make on the show was when we read Sex Criminals that he wrote. And sorry, we will actually get to your stuff in just a second.
That's all
But-
right. I
but-
talk to Chuck all you want to talk. That's fine.
But doing that particular comic is what got me on the show because somebody else didn't want to review it. So it was my first guest spot here. So now I'm here. So I follow the guy. He is such a goofball. But we have Mark Waid on the show. So why in the hell are we talking about Chip Zdarsky?
No, there's a few things. So there is one thing, Mark, is because you're very well known for your work on Fantastic Four, and one of our members had a bit of an episode regarding the Fantastic Four, and I feel like I have to bring it up because I feel like if we talk about it, he will get over his mistake. But I don't remember the details specifically. So, Carrie, do you by chance remember Leo's misunderstanding about the Fantastic Four? Because I feel Mark would love to hear this. Ever.
It went through somebody else, another member of our network, but they're discussing the origins of the Fantastic Four, and it was one of those things where Leo was like, "Oh, really? That's how it happened?" And after this wasn't that long ago, is the issue. It isn't like, oh, the Fantastic Four came out, 2 months ago. Oh, wow, really? What happened? What was their origin story? This is one of those Fantastic Four have been around for 800 years. And
how does somebody not know the origin of the Fantastic Four?
I knew it vaguely.
So Brandy, come pick me up. All right, and then you go no.
So the person who did this made a shirt, which I should have worn tonight if I knew we were bringing this up, that has 4 friends, stolen spaceship, bad shielding, and it keeps going on. Fantastic. And he's now selling it as his Fantastic Friends shirt.
Look, every comic is somebody's first. I totally get it.
Okay, my mom doesn't read comic books at all, though. She barely she likes Marvel movies. I was wearing the shirt, yeah, and she's like, why are you wearing that shirt? What does it mean? And I'm like, well, it's the origin.
That's just dumb. Yeah,
I'm like, it's the origin story of the Fantastic Four. And she's like, well, yeah, I knew that. And I'm like, well, thing is, Leo, the guy who runs the network, didn't know that. And she's like,
so I knew part of it. I didn't know they stole. I didn't know they stole the spaceship. I knew there was faulty shielding. But growing up, I'm a DC kid. It's I didn't read Marvel.
Okay. Let's move on. Let's move.
Yeah, totally.
Let's go somewhere else.
Speaking of DC,
Wait. Before we get there, Leo, I just wanted something else because I'm wearing it. So, Mark, our interview with you at Terrificon this year came up, and thank you then again for doing that. It was 10 glorious minutes of just talking about your career, things and whatnot. And I know I sent you the link when I sent you the links for
Yes.
it, and I hope you enjoyed it. It was
Yes.
absolutely fantastic.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Oh no, absolutely, and thank you for recognizing I was attempting to do Matt Murdock red lawyer suit in San Francisco. I just missed a few details.
Well done. It's like I get
Thank you.
the gist of it. I got yes.
Yeah. I think someone asked if I was a jazz era Mephisto, and I said I want to say yes because that would have been great. But I'm sorry.
By the way, move your hand for a second. Move your hand away from the T-shirt. Let's just give a plug to Terrificon in Connecticut every year. One of the best conventions I've ever been to. Had a great time. It's the Mohegan Sun Resort. It's a drive, but it is an awesome show, and I cannot recommend it. I cannot recommend it enough. Please show up next year, and I'll see you there.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yes.
And another thing is that we learned that you are you're quite a Diet Coke fan.
I am quite the Diet Coke, even though I know from past experience I could lose 10 pounds in the next 2 weeks if I stop drinking Diet Coke. So much sodium does it have. It is my one vice. I don't smoke. I don't really drink. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke pot. There's so many things I am very good about. So everybody needs one vice, and that is mine. And so the fact that you people kept me hydrated with Diet Coke around the clock at that show, 2 at a time, 2 fisting that stuff, very much appreciated, and have set a bar for other conventions to now try to leap over.
Well, I do want to say that all the credit for that goes to our chief of research. That would be the woman above me, Carrie Sanders, who not only that, but it was her idea to give you the Superman cozy because we were like, we don't want them. And it's like Superman likes things cold, Fortress of Solitude, boom, and
there you go.
So Carrie,
and a well appreciated gift, and it is now in my convention bag of staples that I bring to every show. So thank you for that.
Oh, you see where he calls it research. I call it stalking and bribery.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Either way.
But it's it's just we like to let everybody know they're appreciated, even if it's just little tokens. We have a pile of questions starting up over here. Leo, go first.
We do. Yep. So a bunch of people watching, so make sure you get your questions into comments here. So Max is saying, I just wanted Mark to know the return of Barry Allen is probably my favorite comic book arc ever, and it had a profound impact on me. Also, Birthright is my favorite Superman story ever.
I'm very flattered to hear that.
Turning Page is asking, what is the one comic you wish people would read more of yours?
Barry Kitson and I did a reboot of the Legion of Superheroes at DC's behest in 2005. We ran about 30 issues, and I'm really proud of the work we did there. It was kind of hindered by the fact that it was supposed to be a complete brand new relaunch, continuity free. And then 3 months later, DC was doing stuff with Justice League, and here's the old Legion. And so nobody knew what this book was all of a sudden. But I was really happy with what we did there. And I think we really broke some ground. And man, I wish more people would revisit that stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dean Haspiel is in the room.
Heard of him.
Dean.
Heard of him.
It says, love Mark. It was an honor to collaborate with him on the Fox, and I hope to make comics with him again. His recent DC work is astounding. Question, does he have more Fantastic Four stories to tell?
Ooh. I am, in fact, on page 4 of one right now.
Yes. Let's go.
And the goal is to finish it by the end of the week. So more than that, I cannot say, except that, Dino, if you want to draw this thing, call Tom Brevoort.
There you go. That would be nice.
Oh my God, that's so freaking. Oh, absolutely. Is there more, Leo? Is that it for now?
There's Tom Dog has a question, but before we get into that, I just want to keep it on. Dean says, I I would kill to draw your Fantastic.
I will put in a good word. I just don't know whether Tom has picked anybody else out yet. I haven't, because I haven't talked to him for a few weeks. But if he hasn't, you've certainly got my recommendation. So
Oh wow, that's
I'll mention it to him when I turn it in. And in the meantime, Dino, just tell him we met on the podcast here, and drop him a line tomorrow. See what he says.
this is so cool. I'm sorry.
I would guess the only reason it can't happen is only if Tom has already promised it to somebody else. I don't know. So
Of course. No, it's fine. There you go. There you go.
So-
You can get
Oh,
fill-in
anytime.
episodes if nothing else,
any chance to work with Dino? Any chance?
There you go.
He's awesome.
So speaking of Fantastic Four,
Mhm.
you have a lot of irons in the fire right now. How many projects do you got going on?
Of the ones that you know of, let's see. It's Justice League Unlimited. It is Batman and Robin Year One. It is Action Comics for the next 10 weeks. It is Justice League Unlimited. And then there are the 3 that you don't know about yet. So it's a very busy time in stately Wade Manor.
Are you going to keep up with World's Finest?
Oh, I'm sorry. World's Finest. That's another one. Holy
Okay.
smokes. I can't believe I dropped that one off the list. Yes. Yes, I will continue with that book. Dan has moved over to Justice League Unlimited with the idea that, same thing as World's Finest. We get to play with the entire DC universe, but Dan gets to draw, the modern day versions of these characters. And then the World's Finest book has had an art change, but I really think everybody's going to be happy with the way it's turning out. I'm happy with it.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
I absolutely love. Well, your writing's just amazing to begin with, but the artist that you work with, obviously Dan Mora, absolutely love his work. But Sam Nee on Batman and Robin Year One is phenomenal.
Oh my
So
God.
good. Yep.
So yeah.
It was just, we've been working together forever, and we're always looking for a chance to work together again. And he was trying to get a Batman project off the ground at DC, and through no fault of his own, because I've read the pitch. It's a great pitch, but because of editorial foofara and managerial stuff or whatever, he couldn't. He pitched it exactly the wrong time. Not his fault. So he still wanted to do something Batman, his favorite character. So he called me. Do you want to do something? Absolutely. Do I have time? Not really. Will I make time for this? Yes, I will. So we talked about it. We knocked it back and forth, and before long, we had a pitch for Batman and Robin Year One.
Oh
Tom,
yeah.
thank you for your comment. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I've loved your collaboration that you guys did on Daredevil, and Chris's work. I mean, I feel like he just has this wonderful mesh of like Silver Age simplicity with like flashes of some kind of golden age kind of style. Like it's just so easy to kind of fall into that, which worked especially well when you were doing Daredevil, because you guys had those kind of stories that, again, it's in the modern world, but it's got a kind of Silver Age flair to it. It's a little lighter, it's not as dark, but it's still very much, it can be. So that's the best part.
Exactly. And there was always the opportunity for you to turn the page and something really dark happens to Matt.
Right.
And same with Batman and Robin Year One. It is Robin's bright and bouncy, and Batman is the Frank Miller, David Mazzucchelli Batman, and this is not his wheelhouse, really, having a partner. So the fun of the series, the real fun of the series, is the fact that I think in the obviously their early days have been told and retold, and I think our take is interesting in that it is the first take I've ever seen where they just don't like each other.
Yeah, and that actually brings up one of my questions that I was wondering, is because you've told quite a lot of origin stories in your time.
Yeah.
Like most notably Birthright, and your Birthright, which was you were doing that, which is your love letter to Superman. You've done kind of origins. JLA Year One was rewriting an origin story.
Right. Flash Born to Run. Right. All that stuff. Yeah.
Right, exactly. All of it. And now you're here doing that again. What do you feel is like, what is your way of doing an origin story? Like, what do you feel is the required research? What should be like the goal or something that you should keep in mind? Because it's never just, oh, I have this idea. There's, so what's your process there?
It really is digging into the characters. I go back to first principles. I always go back to the earliest days and see what is there and try to take author intent into account as much as possible,
Hmm.
and then build on that. I think that really it comes down to what are these characters' relationships with each other, and whether it's Batman and Robin, whether it's Superman and Lois Lane, or whether it's the
Hmm.
Justice League Year One, and
Right.
how can we show those relationships through a modern lens and make
Hmm.
them interesting and surprising? And 'cause to me, that's the fun of it. I mean, I can have Batman in a story and I can have Metamorpho in a story, but to me, the fun of it is putting two characters together that you don't normally see together, and how they play off each other with their powers and with their personalities and with their attitudes and their
Hmm.
goals. And that's really what it comes down to me, is trying to find some new thing to say about these characters that you've never heard said before.
Hmm. Okay.
And
Yeah.
luckily,
No.
I'm pretty good at that because I've been thinking about them since I was 5.
Yeah.
And we we read Justice League Year One, and I loved it. And
Thank you.
it's one of those books that I loved. Like, there's so much development and stuff going on in it, and the team development and the dynamics of everything going with
Mhm.
it. I hope this sounds good. It's meant to be a compliment. It's a little bit on a darker side of things, because there's a lot of death and
Mhm.
stuff happening.
Mhm.
But it's also something that I would give to maybe a tween-age level person
That is
to
awesome.
read as a like, how to deal with friends and how to learn how to trust people. And yeah, people keep things from each other, but
Yeah,
I think
that
that,
is
hey, you
awesome.
led
That's
some
very nice
great
for you to
lessons
say.
in that.
That's awesome for you to
So
say. And I pride myself on the idea that if I'm writing a superhero comic at DC or Marvel, I really want it to be something you can give to all ages. I really do. I
Yeah.
mean, we don't want to lose sight of the fact that, I mean, there have been some knothead Snyder Bros online bitching about crypto in the Superman movie because James Gunn is pandering to children. But good, it's a Superman movie. He should be pandering to children. That's just fine.
Right.
So
Right.
it
And
just all ages. That's the goal.
Love it.
and also on top of that, I feel like I can't really understand the criticism, especially when you understand what Gunn's motivation for that version of crypto being. It's
Right.
very personal to him, but he's always Superman is all about. He loves animals.
Yeah.
Crypto. Supergirl had Streaky.
Right.
There was even and I don't recall the specifics, but I know there was a space unicorn that talked. There's always been animals
Yeah.
involved. I
Yeah.
seem to recall there was a version of the Fortress of Solitude as a zoo.
Right. Who doesn't love, right?
Um,
And could be, and the whole reason of that is that and it all sort of evolved out of the 1960s is
mhm.
who doesn't love animals? Like, what kid doesn't love dogs? What kid doesn't love a horse? What kid doesn't
Right.
love the zoo? And that's where all of that came from. And it's just,
Mhm.
that talk about pandering to kids, that's all they did in the 1960s
Yeah.
because that was completely their audience.
Right. And even Batman has that Ace the Bat Hound. There's
Yeah.
now a Bat Cow.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's so
We
Yeah.
much.
I
we
don't know
we
how
al-
useful Bad Cow is, but yes.
we almost had Bat Kang, right?
Yeah, I mean, hell, even Nightwing has,
Yeah.
Bitewing, Haley, which
Bitewing.
is
Yeah.
adorable,
Yeah.
and
Did I
yeah,
say that? Did I say that wrong? It was the kangaroo character in Robin
Kanga.
Kango.
yeah,
Wonder Woman has the Kanga. Yeah.
right, yeah, and hell, even now, Plastic Man has a bird. So
Right.
I mean,
I used to
everybody's
have
got one.
Wonder Woman Wonderoos, so that's a
There you
That's
go.
something.
See? But but it's just yeah. I think just there are just some people they feel it's their job to complain, and for me, I'm just like, why? It's fantasy. It's like those kids who have to point out that it's a trick. I was like, we know that, but for a second,
Right.
we believe it's magic,
Yeah.
and
There's
who cares?
yeah,
Why
and
why why does it bother
right.
you?
And there's plenty of room for darker superhero stories. I mean, Irredeemable is as dark a superhero story as you can get. It's, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
there's some of the greatest superhero stories told in the last 30 years have been really dark stories. And I am for it. Like, if they're well done, I'm
Right.
all in. It doesn't
Right.
matter whether or not it doesn't matter whether or not they're for kids or for adults or whatever. As long as they're good, that's all I really care about. But just in terms of my
Right.
own work, I when I'm dealing with characters that have been alive longer than I have, and characters that were designed to appeal to children, it's very difficult for me to make the mental leap to get you to some place that is so super dark and adult.
Right. Yeah. No, it makes sense.
We
I had a
we did have some more questions coming in.
Sure,
go for
hit
it.
me.
So Seth is asking, and I'll reword this a little bit. So Absolute Power was the first DC crossover he bought in years. What was the biggest challenge in writing that one? And also with the multiverse, we know with the DC All In special that this leads into the Absolute universe. Were you how much of that did you know was going to go in with like the DC All In special?
A lot of it. A lot of it. We knew the multiverse being shelved for a while was going to be one of the things. That was an editorial request, but I have no, I was happy to do it. As far as the biggest challenge of working on Absolute Power, there's 240 characters in it. What do you think the biggest challenge was? It was trying to make sure as many people had a moment as I possibly could.
Mm-hmm.
And in what, 120 pages total or whatever it
Right.
was.
4 issues. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, four 30-page issue. And again, it was Dan Mora brought the heat. And every time I asked for 6 characters, he'd draw 12. And every time I asked for 12 characters, he'd draw 30. And God bless
Right.
him. But seriously, keeping track of who's in prison, who's been caught in the other books, who's been caught in the side issues, who's been caught in the spin-off books, who is available, who has got
Right.
powers, who is not. All that stuff was like a series of charts and cables and graphs I kept updated like every day. So, because things would change.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the biggest challenge. But again, that's part of the fun of it. And nobody buys those things
Absolutely.
to read 3 characters. You buy those things because you want to see all these characters running together.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, I can barely write 3 characters, so you do 30 or 300. I like literally, if I was wearing a hat, I would, off to you,
Hey.
sir. So, Leo, what's next?
Yeah,
The next one?
Max says, I'm surprised you haven't written Brainiac in a story yet. Are you planning to do this down the line?
I am. Boy,
That's all I
that's
can
something I
say,
could say,
everybody.
no, I can say. That's all I can say. There's something I could say, but I can't say. I do love
No worries.
Brainiac
No,
because he should be the one villain in the universe that Superman is afraid of. Like, genuinely afraid of, because he can outthink anything with a heart. He can outthink anything with compassion. He can outthink anything that has a chance for. He also believes in redemption. He believes that anything is capable of redemption. Anyone is capable of redemption, but not Brainiac. He has no soul.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, remember the first time we saw the Borg?
Yeah.
Like, that's Superman's reaction to Brainiac every time he shows up. You whisper his name and and Superman's blood goes cold.
Right. And essentially, because he's also kind of immortal, because every time you think he's dead or whatnot, he comes back. It's a new body. It's a new,
Right.
and he's unstoppable. And even
Yeah.
in isn't a version of him in the Legion, right? Some
Yeah.
version of Brainiac is part of the Legion of Superheroes. So even way into the future, Brainiac is still a thing. So it's like Brainiac prevailed.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else, Leo? Was there? Yeah.
Does that mean we're going to get a Bat Cutis?
Get out.
Sorry.
Wait, one more time.
No, Mark. No, we're not indulging Leo.
Moving on.
No, we're not
Joking
indulging Leo's corny jokes.
Right.
No, don't play this. Next, Leo.
The Borg, Lacutus, Bat Cutis?
No. It wasn't
If
that
you
good.
have to explain it that long, it's not a good joke.
I love this question because there's a story behind it. Keep going.
Okay, so Greg is asking, you want to do it, Drew?
Yeah, I'll do it. When you wrote Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it seemed your version of Coulson was based on yourself and how he figured out unique ways to group heroes together to best utilize their powers. Would you agree with that?
110%. I mean, Coulson wasn't a character in the DC rather than the Marvel, universe until
Mark.
that moment. And I was asked to introduce him, and I completely Mary Sued that guy 100%. I mean, there's an opening in that first issue of Shield where he's shown being a fan as a boy because he has a card box full of index cards with all of the superheroes' names and powers and stuff written on it.
Mhm.
That's mine. That's my, like, I took photos. That's the box I still have that I had when I was 8 years old, writing down and cataloging superheroes. Yeah, Coulson, absolutely my Mary Sue avatar in the Marvel universe.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Son of Wade, not son
Yeah.
of gold.
Yeah, that's the
there you go.
scene.
Boom. Leo, are there any others? Because I have one or so. Okay, hold on.
This Sophia is one of our family members' daughters, and so
Mhm.
you've reached a kiddo out there who's just so happy. She's a comic book kid that's just like she can do it with her age level of stuff, and she's like about a tweener. So
That's
yeah,
cool. That is so awesome.
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
she's
I think we covered all the questions there. I know I have a bunch, but I don't want to,
Yeah, no, I
there's a
just have
fanboy moment
one.
too.
Oh, okay. Another big thumbs up for
Thanks, Tom.
Batman Robin Year One. You're doing good, man. So one of the things I want to bring up in the JLA is, as a Starman fan, you touched on something which I always find is a crazy thing in the Starman history. It's that Starman, and that's Ted Knight, did technically have I hate to say it, had an affair with Dinah Lance's mom, the original Black Canary, which is something that, being a huge Starman fan, was touched on in James Robinson's Starman run. And just that totally ties into what Carrie was talking about with, hero worship. She, in the beginning, they're her heroes. They can do no wrong. And then she finds out that her and Ted did this act, and it just shatters her illusion of them.
You're talking about Dinah, not Carrie, just to make it
Yeah.
clear. So
My apologies.
yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
No. Sorry. So yeah, that was Dinah. Yeah, that was a big moment for Dinah, for Black Canary in Justice League Year One. Is, what do you mean my mom had an affair? And
Right.
because she looked at the Justice Society as grandparents, like they're all buddies. They all come to the house all the time. It must be like being Frank Sinatra's son, and hanging out at the house when all the celebs come over. That's kind of how she felt, and
Right.
And
that was an awakening for her.
you had that
Yeah, it
moment
was.
too where she's talking to somebody about it, and she's like, and he just goes, human.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just ties into that universal appeal. You really saw, like, it's that shattering. It's like when you're a kid and you think your parents are gods. They can do no wrong, and then later in life they're just as human as you. They make mistakes. Excuse me, language, they fuck up, but they're always trying to do they were always trying to do the right thing. And even when they fucked up, they at least tried to make up for it, or do right. So I just, again, as a Starman fan, that was just brought up in such a way. I was like, wow, that I didn't expect that. I was like, wow. So kudos to you, man, on
Thank
that
you.
one. So Leo, you had questions.
Yeah, and we have some more that came in. I promise I'll make sure we get to
No,
everybody.
that's fine. Yeah.
But talking about Action Comics 1070, definitely don't want to spoil it. But the monster. So
oh my God.
again, don't want to spoil it. Holy crap. When we find out what they've been saying the whole issue, like I got chills from that. I just had to say that. But with such a strong start to your 10-issue arc, what can you talk about? I know there's not much you can talk about, but is there anything high level you can mention?
I mean, I think so. 12 issues, by the way, too. The reason I said 10 more weeks is because 2 of them already come out.
Got it.
I mean, it is one big story that even the subplot that starts in 1071, 1072 eventually comes back around and ties into the main book. But the big swing is that, for those who don't know the story or haven't picked up the issues yet, the idea is that, as we have seen in publishing history, the Phantom Zone used to be a fairly benign place full of
Mhm.
spirits of Kryptonian criminals that condemned for crimes, and that was their prison. And over the years, other writers have added things to it and added things to it and added things to it, which is fine. But it's gotten to a point now where it is a hellhole. It has gotten to a point now where it is a complete hellscape of
Mhm.
torturous experiences. And I couldn't wrap my head around the idea of Superman putting people there or letting it exist. That was the
Mhm.
real world motivation for the story. So I went to the editor. I said, I want to fix the Phantom Zone. I want to not restore it to what it was in the Silver Age exactly, because I have some ideas as to where we can go with it at the other end of the story. And it should still be a place of foreboding, and it should still be a place that you don't want to go. But at the
Right.
same time, it's got to be a place that Superman could justify. And in
Oh, yeah.
doing so, it's not. I'm sorry, coming off a cold.
No
And
worries.
then so it's Dante's journey through hell. Basically, it's that
Yeah.
with an old face who shows back up again as his Virgil, showing him through the Phantom Zone.
And something I always enjoy is because I noticed that there's been a similar theme where like I read what you were trying to do with that, and I kind of remember what Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely did when they had relatives of Superman that they had to send to the Phantom Zone, and they kind of were sent there as like sheriffs to kind of
Right.
restore order to the Kryptonians. And that's kind of what I saw the parallel. And I was like, man, every once in a while, someone's just got to come into the Phantom Zone, clean house, restore order,
Yeah.
sheriff that.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
and also, your collaborator on that, or I believe it's Clayton Henry. He
Yep.
just what a great artist. I mean, just again, simple but yet terrifying. Just I
Yep.
can't wait to see what him and your other collaborators do with the story. It's just
Yeah.
I'm with Leo. Like the first issue, I was like, man, I'm in. Let's go. Let's
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
And Michael, who's doing the subplot stuff, bringing the heat as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And then there's an Easter egg in the one that comes out tomorrow that I don't think anybody's going to pick up on. I'm curious as to whether somebody does. I can't say because I want to see if someone out there picks up on the little Easter egg I planted, but we will see.
Oh,
And
Nice.
you
it
just started a Reddit thread that's going to
Good.
last for
I
days
hope so.
with people trying to figure out if they know, is it this? Well, but it could be this.
Once
What about this? So
once
there
you
you go.
figure it out, you'll know you figured it out.
I, Leo, if you get it, let me know, and I will email it to Mark. And
Yeah.
Oh,
and
it's on my poll list. I told my yes, I'm going to be by tomorrow. So
All right.
Tom has mentioned no pressure, but will we ever see
Yes.
issue? Oh,
Yes. Yes, we will. The problem was that Jeez, I'm sorry. The problem was that DC just put it on the schedule too soon. They meant well. It wasn't even close to being done, and all kind of real world stuff came up in the meantime. I finished the third issue like 3 years ago, and it's
oh,
been chunking along. And Kevin Nolan is about halfway through issue three now. I think the plan, and don't hold me to this, but I think the plan is to re-release issue one in March just to remind people that it exists, and then to go April, May with the finale. But we want to make sure everything's in hand.
mhm.
Once
awesome.
once we announce it, there will be no more fake outs. We will not announce it again until we are guaranteed that you're going to get all three.
Perfect. And
I
Seth
mean,
is asking, there aren't too many comic book writers from the 90s who are still getting regular work from the big two. What do you attribute to your longevity?
I don't know. I'm I would like to think that it's because I love these characters and I always find something new to say about them, I hope. And on a practical level, I'm a pretty get along guy. I'm not, I understand what an editor goes through because I was an editor. I sat on that side of the desk, so I understand their challenges and understand how I can make their lives better. Same with the artists. I have a good track record with artists and knowing how to collaborate as a good collaborator rather than just being
mhm.
trying to treat the artist like an art robot. Um, and I also keep up with comics. I keep up with brand new comics all the time, and I'm always looking for new storytelling techniques, new ways of doing the job, new ways of approaching comics, tools that you know, and new tools that people bring to the toolbox. That always excites me. So all I can say is I just haven't lost my enthusiasm.
Okay.
That's hard to
If
do, man,
if any of
after
you have
that
an
long.
answer, feel free to jump in because
Oh no.
because I know it will be a compliment. So
You're
if anyone else has a theory, by all means.
Well, my theory is you're just such a friggin' awesome writer. So
Of
it's
course
See,
you would.
oh please stop. Oh please stop.
No,
well,
I
you
think, yeah. If I my theory is, I think it's just because you've always just never been. You just go where the story is. You write your style, you know, and you just like it's so clear you enjoy it. And I think, like you said, you got to love it. You got to love,
Yeah,
you know. It's like, what is that that old quote? You know, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
right, right.
You know,
And
and
that's
I think.
true. That's true 90% of the time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and
I think it's that. Go, Carrie.
Oh, I'm going with that you're incredibly talented, and of course, as we were just saying, you're incredibly motivated as well, and you keep your finger on the pulse of things. You know how to still reach all of these new audiences. You didn't just stop time when you started writing and leave things behind.
Oh,
You're able to keep moving forward, keep the characters moving forward, and appeal to the changes that are going on in the people that have been following you for forever, and introducing the comics to new people as
thank
they
you.
age up into where they can read the comics. You know,
I'm
you've got all of us covered. We can all
I
appreciate
appreciate
the same things coming out of you.
thank you. I was obviously joking when I said please shower me the compliments, but I
We
appreciate
want.
hearing the feedback because that's the stuff that I need to keep an eye on. That's the stuff that I can't lose sight of. So,
Right.
you know, and I really think that's important to never, ever, ever become a nostalgia act. That is the goal. I mean, that is the edict to my world's finest editor. The moment it becomes, you know, a nostalgia act, then pull the plug. Same with anything else I'm doing. You can't be, oh, Mark Waid's trying to bring the Silver Age back. No, no, the Silver Age is great, and it still exists back there for anybody who wants to see it. But it doesn't. A lot of it doesn't have relevance. So let's find the bits and pieces that might be able to be reworked and transformed and have some relevance today.
Mm.
That's my joy. But to try to mimic uh, the days gone by is just a lesson in disappointment, and it's just people have seen that. So why would I want to relive the Bronze Age of comics?
Well,
Yeah.
that touches in a little bit what Seth says. So there aren't too many. Actually, wrong button
We
there.
already did that one.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. I think you didn't give into the trends of the time, and your work is pretty timeless and could hit just as well with my 14-year-old reading Flash in 2024.
oh,
Oh
that's nice to hear.
wow.
That is really nice to hear.
Yeah.
And I will say this. Thank you. Positivity and optimism. Yes, because I don't think I'm sure people can pull it off, but I don't think superheroes are very well served by negative, you know, cynicism. I just don't because they're not built for that. They're not. They were never created to be cynical characters. So, and I think that if anything, I think maybe the reason he's still responding, you know, your 14-year-old responding to it is because I I don't come at it from a place of plot. I don't come at it from a place of okay, I can have a great plot that is like a Swiss watch and right that is just airtight and clever and funny and smart. But that's not what a story is. That's just the foundation for a story. A real story is about the emotion. A real story is about the feelings that people have, the inner conflicts they have, the you know the things they learn along the way. That's what a real story is. And if you the worst stories I've written are the ones where I have relied on plot more than I have on character. And
Mm.
plot comes from character. That's
Mhm.
rule number one. So I hope he's responding because I hope your 14-year-old is responding, he or she, I don't know, but
Mm.
to the idea that there are, I hope, some universal emotions that will stand the test of time in this work. It's what I try to do with Archie. Same thing. I just, I way too old to be writing Archie comics when I was writing them, but at the same time, I I knew there were universal things about being a teenager that will never change. And
Yeah.
those are the ones I drilled down on. Everybody knows what it's like to have your first kiss. Everybody knows what it's like to get your driver's license for the first time, so forth and so on.
Mhm.
So actually,
Mhm.
nobody knows what it's like to get a driver's license now for the first time because they just Uber everywhere. But that said, thank you. Next question, please.
Good. If you please, Mr. Pond.
Dean says Mark will work forever because he's super talented, super flexible, and elevates the virtues of the characters and collaborators.
Quit selling, Dean. I told you I want you to draw the story.
Turn the page says we second to talent and ability to read the times. Is there a character that needs a continuance in a story you hope to make in the future?
Oh,
That's a really good question. That's a really good question. Is there somebody I need to update that I feel need to update to make more relevant? Some of that actually is being answered by the Absolute Universe. I'm not doing anything in it, but what Scott Snyder and his crew are doing with the Absolute books is doing exactly that. And so there are a couple of characters I could name, but I know that they're already doing something with them. So they've kind of fallen off the list. But I just think, the good ones, the ones with some staying power, I again, Metal Men. I use that as an example all the time. There's nothing intrinsically wrong with the Metal Men as a concept. It's a great concept. So what can we do to make that relevant in a world of AI, in a world that is absorbed with the perils and possibilities of artificial intelligence? Now you get 6 robots running around with independent minds and thoughts trying to help people. What does that really look like in the 21st century? I should write this down. This is good. All right. Writing this down.
It's recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's recorded. Yeah.
You can watch it.
Speaking of that, what did you think of Absolute Batman?
I really liked it. I really did. Scott and I have been talking about it for like a year because he'll call me up and run ideas by me, which is really nice and really flattering. Same with Jason on Absolute Superman, which I really love. I think everybody has taken such a huge swing that it's paying off. Is it your traditional Batman if you like Bruce Wayne as kind of as he is right now as the rich playboy and stuff? No, that's not your Batman. But I think the soul of what he's trying to do with Batman, having seen the first few issues or having read stuff and having like a crystal ball that you don't have, because I talked to Scott, I think he's on the beam.
Awesome. Yeah, totally agree. I've only read the first issue, but it's absolutely love it. It's a fresh take on Batman, and yeah, I can't wait to see where it goes. We did have another question come in. So Seth is saying, can you use your powers to get Gunn to greenlight a world's finest cartoon by Uemura's style? Oh my god, that would be awesome.
Oh, that would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. Yeah, so any chance we can see that?
If only James Gunn would be able to pull me out of a lineup, dude. I would love to. And frankly, had I made, if you remember a few months ago, there was a picture that circulated on social media with all the Superman writers, past and present, at the Superman set. Sadly, I was on my way to a convention that day, so I couldn't make it. And then a couple of weeks ago, there was one circulated with all the Fantastic Four guys having been flown by Marvel to the Marvel set of Fantastic Four in London. And I was at a convention. So I love my fans. Let's just say, love my fans. But had I had a chance to bend James Gunn's ear at that day, who knows what might have come out of it. But maybe someday.
Hey, you never know.
I know we are coming up on the time.
I can go another 10 minutes or so if you're good.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
we're good.
Cool.
Oh, we'll take 10,
All
15, whatever you got, man. All right, Leo, are there more questions or did you have something or?
Oh, I definitely have more. So quick question regarding to Justice League Unlimited.
By the way, you've learned there's no such thing as a quick question with me, but go ahead, please.
Oh, no. I take that. No. You're no Chris Claremont. Okay. We don't have 3 hours for your Iliad of an explanation, but it's all good. Yes. And trust me, I know I've stood in that line but
know.
it's all
We love Chris, but wow.
We
yeah,
love Chris.
yeah.
Uh,
But go, Liam.
No, so going from DC all in, learning that, what Justice League Unlimited is, not to spoil anything. And then there were some theories, since you have the cartoon Justice League Unlimited, is there going to be any pull from any of the stories from there, or I know we're
Not really. No, just the basic
yeah,
concept, which was editorially driven, which was fine. Which was,
yep,
hey, Mark and Dan are kicking ass doing essentially the same thing in World's Finest on a slightly smaller scale, which is using the entire DC universe. So why don't
Mhm.
we update that to present day and make it in part of current day continuity and let them go? And so in that, just in the first few issues, it's a combination of, it's always mission oriented, right? There's something going on in the Amazon, or there's something going on in South America, there's something going on in you know Taiwan.
Mhm.
Who's available and who's perfect for that mission? It's you and you. It's you and you. And so that's sort of the engine that drives the series, much like the cartoon show. But some of those threats will last 2 or 3 issues. Some of them are over with in one issue. Some of them are big, some of them are smaller, and that's the sort of motor of it. A big part of it too. One of the driving forces is, as we saw at the end of Absolute Power, is that most everybody get their powers back, but not everybody. And not everybody got their powers back, but maybe they got somebody else's powers. So there is a running thread in Justice League Unlimited about, we got to find out where some of these powers went, because they could very easily fall in the wrong hands. And so that
Right.
is a runner. It's not the main series, but that's our running subplot throughout the whole first year.
Awesome.
nice. And we still have Brewster Gold missing as well. Is that
Yeah.
I know you can't say anything about that, but I'm assuming there's going to be some ongoing stories with trying to find them.
I don't think they know he's gone. I think the idea from All In is that the Justice League doesn't even know that Booster Gold ever existed. So I don't think
Oh,
anybody's out looking for him.
Oh,
wow. Man, I missed
wow.
that.
Yeah, same
I
here.
hope I hope I didn't blow it. I'm pretty sure that's in the book. So
Oh, no, it's fine.
if
Either way.
okay.
Yeah, you're good,
Well,
man.
yeah, I'm gonna crack open a book right after this. And,
Yeah, just get it.
so Tom Dog says, "What is your dream superhero team up that has never teamed up before that would make a great story?"
That is a great question. I mean, the problem with asking me my dream this or my dream that is that I have been very lucky in my career. I mean, extraordinarily lucky to be living the dream for 40 years. So if it's some dream combo, I've probably hit it at some point or another, especially with Brave and Bold, when I did
Oh,
that
yeah.
with George Perez. And I was able to do, here's the Blackhawks and the Boy Commandos, and here's Dialects for Hero and the Metal Men. And that was so much fun doing that. I don't have an answer right off, but I guarantee the moment I leave the broadcast, 6 things will come to me.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of broadcast, Greg is saying, I wish Mark would do a regular podcast again. When he was at Boom, he did a regular podcast with a few of the young editors. I remember him trying to explain what Big Little Book was.
It's true. Yes. I love doing those. It really has always been a function of time. It has always been a function of time. I just wish I had the wherewithal. Also, I also don't deal well with structure in general. Like the moment you
Mhm.
tell me I have to do something, I start looking for ways out. So if I know I have to do a podcast every Wednesday at 4, I'm going to look for any excuse not to do it. So that's part of the problem too. I'm just not built for other than comic book scripts. I guess I'm just not built for regularity in terms of stuff. But I look, I can't write comics forever. At some point, somebody's going to catch on and realize I've been doing it for too long, and then I'll podcast your ears off at that point.
Okay. Nice.
Well,
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 not
if that
nice.
time,
Yeah.
Not
if that,
nice, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least we'll still
Yeah.
have you around, you know.
I
Yeah.
look, but also, I other than Stan Lee, like I have to be the most interviewed human being who ever did comics at this point. I have to be. And so the idea that there are things that I can still say that would surprise you, or that anybody who wants to keep hearing my voice continues to confound me, because I mean, nobody, Bendis, who else? Matt Fraction, Chuck Zdarsky. I mean, any of those guys. I don't know who's been interviewed a lot, but I can't believe people aren't tired of hearing me by now.
Well, I
Never.
mean, I will say, having interviewed you, it is a challenge, because I was exactly thinking that, like, what thing can I not ask Mark Waid that he has
Right.
not been asked? I mean, we even made that joke before, that, remember the pulling Mark Waid string, what
Yeah.
would come out? Like,
Yeah.
what's Alex Ross like in real life?
Oh yeah, exactly. There is a string in my back that's like one of those, ventriloquist dolls or whatever, that everyone, if you ask me, what it was like to work with Alex Ross, I have my pet answer. And Brandy, my fiance, just loves watching me do this, because she knows when I've gone into rote mode. What is it you love about Superman? Pull the string. So I love the questions that don't hit those points, like who's your favorite team up that's never happened before. Thank you for the
Right.
new questions. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's kind of like the actor who played Biff Tannen in Back to the Future. H. Thomas Wilson. He made that song about all of the things he was asked, just because he
Yeah.
got tired of it. He's like, I'm gonna have
Yeah.
fun with this, but at the same time, like, please stop asking me.
I really should I should print up a pamphlet to just give out at
There you
conventions. Like, here's the FAQ here. Yeah.
I would
Well,
want it. I would 100% get that and have you sign it and just be like, no questions asked. I'm like, all right, cool, got it. Framing, just so
I'm
you all know.
I'm actually not, that is really actually a good idea. That's actually a really good idea. All right, convention season starts again soon. That
Boom.
may be on my list of things.
Hey, listen, do it, man. Why not? You know? Uh
well, if
oh yeah,
if
no, the fans approve. They're like, pamphlet
All right.
us, Mark
All right.
Waid.
All right.
Give
10
us
more
the gospel.
minutes. 10 more
All
minutes,
right.
and then cold out at 10 after the hour.
we'll do,
Perfect.
we'll
All
do,
right.
and
Set the
just
timer.
yep. And if you ever decide to go back into podcasting, open invitation. We'd love to help you. So
Thanks. Appreciate it.
totally. So Max says, let's campaign for Mark to write the Superman action for going as long as he wrote the Flash.
Let's
And,
go. 8 years of
8 years.
action. Let's go.
Who knows what the near future will bring, except that I've had 2 or 3 projects I haven't been able to talk about yet.
Sounds good.
Mm.
Oh, now you're
Wow,
muted.
that's a compliment.
Oops.
40
Yeah.
years, 3 generations of our family have enjoyed your
Oh,
work and do appreciate what you do.
wow. That is a real compliment. I love the fact that it's next to a tombstone. I love that that's your avatar. Like, it's a mixed message,
Yes.
but thank you. That's 3 generations is very kind. That's very cool. Thank you.
And I know her, and I know with it. She's like, and I'm giving this to my
Yeah.
mother-in-law to read, and I'm giving this to my daughter, and yeah, their
Yeah.
household is all about passing it on. So
All
Yeah.
right. Tom, no plans to come to Chicago anytime really soon, but I haven't carved out my entire 2025 convention schedule yet. So hopefully we can make something happen.
Okay, I have a question. In terms of just interrupted questions, when you're not working on a bazillion projects for everybody, what do you do in your spare? What does Mark Waid do?
Spare time.
Like, do you go for hikes? Do you, I don't know, do
Yeah.
woodworking?
Yeah,
Do
look at
you?
me.
Yeah.
I do a lot of exercise, he said sarcastically. I do puzzles a lot. I do, the
Okay.
board game escape rooms, or the, games magazine, which is sitting next to my right, or that kind of stuff. I have a morning regimen of, okay, I'm going to do Wordle, and then Redactyl, and then this, and then this, and then this.
Mhm.
That, and then the other passion is Legos, which was
Leo.
a late game changer for me. Like about 10 years ago, I realized that, oh man, they make these things for like big adult sets now. This is kind of cool. And now it is my happy place, because it is so relaxing. As a writer, I sit here and I have to make choices. Every single word I type, I have to make choices, and that becomes fatigue. I mean, it really does. So I get to go over to the table and crack out a Lego set And then for 5 hours, all I'm doing is exactly what you tell me to do. Click, 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 do this. And I don't have to, I just like following a recipe. And that is so cleansing for me.
Gary, take notes.
It is the best.
Yeah, I'm a writer, and I do Wordle. I do like 5 different things on the New York Times puzzles now,
Yeah.
ritualistically every single day, so that I can keep the brain going. And
have you tried Redactyl?
no, I didn't know about that one.
Redactyl's cool. It's tough, but because you like get it right away or never. But redactyl.com, and it's they publish a random Wikipedia article with most of the words redacted. And so you have to word by word guess, you know, though you'll type in a word, it'll tell you if it's in, it'll pop up and unredact, or it will tell it's not in there. And so that is the guess. You have to figure out what the hell they're doing an article on. Is it Lebanon? Is it the history of the hula hoop? Is it, James Carville? What is the article about? And sometimes you'll get it right away, and sometimes you'll give up and you'll look at it and go, I knew nothing about Sri Lanka. I never would have gotten that.
I might actually be really good at that, because I'm also an editor, and you have no idea when you're editing something, particularly from somebody whose English is not their first language. There are just words that are not, they're just like, I don't even know what this is supposed to be.
Yep.
But you figure it out, and you learn how to see like specific patterns in like, okay, this is going to fit here. Sorry, I'm taking up too much time, but yeah.
No. That's my, it has nothing to do with comics, but that's my recommendation. Redactyl.com.
Okay. I will look that up as soon as we're done tonight.
All right.
Thank
6
you.
minutes. Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go.
All right.
So Dean is saying, forgive me for not knowing this answer, but have you written OMAC? And if not, would you want to?
I have not, because OMAC hit at that Kirby period in the early 70s at DC, when I was young and stupid and had no taste and thought Kurt Swan was the end all and be all of artists, that all the Kirby stuff turned me right off. And I look back at it now and I'm like, oh my God, New Gods, Mr. America, this stuff was amazing. But I don't have the passion for it. So I don't feel an OMAC in me somewhere.
That's very fair.
It's my fault, not Kirby's.
I'm with you. I'm very character driven. So somebody can be like, can you write in this sense? Like, no, I can't. There's nothing there. But this, this I can find a character in. This I can plow into.
Right. It's true. She is very picky.
Well, I think we made it through all the questions. Tom did mention he just bought a Batman 66 Batmobile for Lego.
Ooh, nice.
That's cool. I'm looking at mine across the table now, and I bought a light up kit for it, that actually an aftermarket lighting kit. So that'll be Saturday.
That's awesome.
In my living room, I have the Lego Ghostbusters firehouse, and I positioned it where I have a candle, like one of those automatic candles. So if I put it, it has the light above, and then right above it is a drawing of Egon Spengler. So it's my accidental, unintentional restructuring / tribute. So
that's cool.
I'm all for that. But Leo up there is a big Lego guy. I don't even know how many you have anymore, Leo.
No, that's Jar Jar.
Sorry.
No. My I wanted to get into Lego, but I don't think it would be good with me and my wife.
It is. It is not the cheapest hobby to have.
No.
And Lego has a little dark spot in my heart. I applied to work there, and made the interview all the way up to the big wigs over in Europe, and it did not go well.
Fools. So they were fools.
They were
in their general direction.
I have family who does competitive Lego stuff. If you know about that, they they go to conventions. He's double jointed, and so when they have to build as many of these over and over and over and see who wins, he beats people by twice as much as what they're able to craft.
That is so cool. Tell me he's auditioning for Lego Masters.
I don't know. I will have to check in. He's not one
Yeah.
that I talk to very often, but Lego did invite him to go out to
Mhm.
Vegas for like the national tournament. And he was like, "Oh, that'd be great." But then they were like, "But I mean, you have to pay your own like hotel room, and it's going to be at
It's
this
not
place, so
really an
it's going to, and the
invitation.
flight." And yeah, it was just you can come if you want because you win the one regionally every single year. But he was like, "You know what? I'll just stick with the free shit that I'm getting here for being
Yeah.
amazing at putting together Legos, and
Yeah.
I'm good."
I
But
know
yeah, I'll
this
have
is
to check out
horrible.
the.
I know this is horrible, but I keep imagining, like, Mark, for some reason, I have this image that you own like a Lego Fortress of Solitude, and you have like the little, like, the Legos. And then if you need scripting things, you're just like, all right, we're going to take a minute. And you just,
I actually talked to somebody about 5 years ago to build me a Fortress Lego set, and it didn't go very far because I realized that as cool as a Lego set would be, 3D printing is getting to the point now
yeah.
where I
Mhm.
can get it exactly the way I want it. So
Mm.
I'm working now with a 3D printer guy who is doing like custom Legion of superheroes model ships for me and other stuff. And that's the kind of
That
stuff.
is
The
awesome.
3D printing makes everything work for me. Yeah.
So you have your own Fortress of Solitude trophy room. That's what you're building right now.
Oh, I do. I mean, I wish I were at the camera upstairs. I'd show you the Phantom Zone projectors and the Bottle City of Candor and the Kryptonite display. And yeah, yeah.
Leo would lose his
Oh
mind.
yeah. That's
That's
actually
going for him.
yeah. I've almost convinced my wife that we need a 3D printer. So it's
Yeah.
yeah.
So
It's
Well,
next year
we did
is
have
going to be our year, buddy. We're going to get him.
yep.
we do
We're
have one
at
more
time.
question.
All right.
All right.
Yeah,
One more question. Give me one more question.
Last question. Greg is trying to remember if he ever worked with Walt Simonson.
Yes. One time we worked together on the Hulk when I was doing we didn't call him Incredible Hulk at that time. I forget what we called it, but Indestructible Hulk. And
Mhm.
I really wanted to work with Walt. So I contrived a story whereby the Hulk meets the Silver Age Thor because that's the Thor that Walt wanted to draw. And
Of
not only
course.
did we get 2 issues out of it, but Walt was having such a good time. He asked if we could make it 3. So that was a real high point. Working with Walt, chef's kiss, the best.
Oh yeah.
That is awesome.
That's awesome.
Seriously.
Well,
Um,
Mark, thank you so much for your time this evening.
seriously.
Yeah. So where do you like people interacting with you on social media?
I'm Mark Waid writer on Instagram. I'm Mark Waid at Blue Sky. I am if you're over 60, I'm on Facebook. And I'm busy rebuilding my markwade.com webpage even as we speak. So, you can find those old podcasts and new stuff on there. So that's the plan. But if you want to reach me, Blue Sky or Facebook is probably the best place at this point.
Awesome. You building that site with with WordPress, or are you doing Wix, or
Got a guy, please.
awesome.
When you get to how much time do you think I have? It's just in a given day.
Leo, you
I
gotta
have
go.
a guy.
Yeah, he's come on.
Well, thank you again, Mark. So if you don't mind, if you can hit the leave studio button on the bottom, that will
Yep.
prompt you to go to an uploads page. And just if you can leave that, going until it's done. That'd be
I'll do
greatly
that right now.
appreciated.
All right.
Okay.
Take
If
care.
there's any issues, we can send you a link afterwards. Thank you so much,
All right.
Mark.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Thank you, Mark.
Good night, sir.
Good night, sir.
Oh, that was awesome.
Seriously.
Love that guy.
We know.
Thank you to everybody with all the questions. Absolutely appreciate it. A ton of
Seriously.
people watching. So yeah,
You guys were the real MVPs. Like, we had questions because we do this. This is like second nature to us. But everybody, thank you so much for all of your questions. And everybody, take it from somebody who gets it a lot. When someone you're interviewing says that's a really good question, you can walk with your head a little higher, because that means they haven't been asked that, and they appreciate that, because, yeah. So, and he's been at this a lot. So he's been asked a lot of questions. So
Yeah.
good on
And
y'all.
for everybody watching, if you haven't picked it up yet, go to your LCS, grab Action Comics 1070. I was not joking when, the monster, I'm not going to say what it was, when we find out what they've been trying to say the whole episode, I literally got chills. I don't know about you, Drew, but like, holy shit, that was so awesome.
I have enough hair. I got chills. It was a ripple. No,
Am I gonna Bride of Frankenstein over this?
Yeah, that Batman and Robin Year One. It's a 12-issue miniseries. Well, not a miniseries, but it's a 12-issue series. It's going to be fantastic. The issue 1 that dropped was awesome. JLU is going to be dropping, I think, early next year.
I thought it was November.
Okay, then it's going to be. The point is, it's going to be.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Oh yeah. Point is soon. So, and then on top of, and then we also read We read JLA Year One. That was him, the late great Brian Augustin, and Barry Kitson, among other collaborators. That was a really solid 12-issue read. Really great. We also read Tower of Babel, which was Mark, Howard Porter, one or two other creators. Was also amazing, and it was adapted into a DC animated film. It's a little different in that film, but it's still great. And we also read some of Empire, which is another collaboration with him and Barry Kitson. That's a very mature story. So if you can handle the darkness, check that out. But everybody, Godspeed, Mark Waid. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So if you want to catch up on what he's working on right now, he's still working on World's Finest. 2 issues ago, 2 issues ago, he did the first team up with the Trinity, which that was a great story. But yeah, he's still continuing World's Finest, as he mentioned. Action Comics is going to be 12 issues, and Batman and Robin Year One, I'm not sure how many issues that's going to be.
We'll see.
Probably 12 because it's one a year or one per month. Seth and what Leo was saying is JLU is going to be dropping November 27th. So
thank you.
Get that ready because guys, seriously, anything new coming out this year that you can get in an order the second that it goes up for order, just
do it.
Buy it. Because everything is selling out first ed printings like way before it's even released. So you might as well just go ahead, consider it an investment. And if it doesn't follow through the investment, you're still buying a goddamn good comic because there's so many amazing things that we get to experience this year.
I feel like all of this is kind of making you a DC fan. Like you weren't, it's not like you haven't been, but
this feel like making me broke.
Well, so speaking of broke, we hear. Hold on a second. I'm.
Oh
yes. Yeah. So we're tuning in Jar Jar. He doesn't have his microphone, but we are tuning in. He's in a game show right now. Drew, did you know he's in a game show? He's in a Flash Cab, and. His driver looks familiar, but Jar Jar, I hope you win a lot of money on Cash Cab. I hear it's 13,000 cabs in New York City, but only one will allow you to win money. So yeah.
And Char, if he asks you anything about the Fantastic Four, do not use Leo as your call to person. Remember, you've got this, bud. I know.
I just want to say, for the record, I loathe you, and I despise you, and all of you else watching. I love you more. So.
Oh my God! If I had wine in my mouth that moment, you would have had a nose shot because that killed me.
Thank you. Loathe and despise.
You love us.
So everybody, since we've already covered, normally this is where we would then switch to the news, but there was so much in New York Comic Con that we already covered it. So if you want to see our coverage of the New York Comic Con news, I would definitely tune into our YouTube channel where we have that up. and see what's coming. There's a lot of great stuff for the remainder of this year and early for next year. We're super excited about that. Thank you. We love you too. Gravestone person. But shut up, Carrie. And also, I'm not going to give any hints, but we have so many great guests for the remainder of the year. We're basically booked all the way up to our end of the year live read, and we're starting to work on that, and that's going to be great. So my advice to you is you might want to block out your Tuesdays, because we got the fresh stuff coming.
We cover
But
to the end of the
we
year.
do. We do. We cover the spread and then some. But Leo, I think we maybe should just wrap it up for once. Do you want me to talk about our upcoming guest before we sign off? Hey everybody, I'm Drew with Splash Pages, and I'm really glad you tuned in for Mark Waid. But as these eyebrows can't stay arched forever, and I'm still trying after 37 years, I want to talk about our next guest coming up. If you want to know who he is, he was on the show a lot tonight. That the always fantastic, the always great Mr. Dean Haspiel will be on. We're going to be talking about his work. We're going to maybe be also talking about some of his other stuff. Can't really say too much about that. But we're very excited. We unfortunately didn't get a chance to talk to him much at Terrificon, and I didn't get a chance to see him while he was at New York Comic Con. Sorry, Dean. But we're very excited to have him on. So Dean Haspiel will be on, and you should be on there too, so you can ask him just as many questions as you did Mark Waid. Just as many.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I have somebody helping me design my Dean Haspiel cosplay actually currently. So
yes, you told him, and he was
yes.
like, wow, "You're great." He gave that look like, "Thank you." And now I'm like, "That's great, Dean. I'm terrified." But I'm always terrified on the show. Leo, do you wanna do the honors?
Yeah, we'll wrap things up. I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. Thank you for all the questions as well. You know me, you know how to find me, but more importantly, follow these awesome people. Follow Mark. I got all his information and show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. And yeah, go to your LCS and get some more stuff on your pull list that Mark's working on. I reached out to my LCS today, and yeah, he probably got sick of me. I sent him a bunch of messages, and yeah, gonna head on over there tomorrow. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, our YouTube channel. I got like 40 videos that are ready to pop on up. Tons of content going up there. But yeah, head on over to our YouTube, subscribe. There's more special stuff going up all the time. And Carrie, how's it going?
Doing good. Yes, please like and subscribe. We have been getting a lot of more YouTube followers lately, and we are thrilled about it. We're trying to hit that 1,000 mark, guys. We got to hit the 700 mark first, but we've been increasing in leaps and bounds since the last Terrificon, which is possibly because of the huge amount of amazing guests that we've been able to get since we spoke there. And a lot of that credit goes to Drew because he's been reaching out like mad. But if you want to catch up with me, look at Carrie Sanders. If you see Judgmental Crow as the avatar, that is me. You can follow my author page. You can follow my stuff on Splash Pages. You can find my stuff on the Owlite Network. Next week, I'm going to be doing on Sunday an interview of my Clutch of Personalities with Jennifer Elliott. And Monday, we'll be doing a Tomb of the Terrible. I've been making them all watch incredibly horrible Amityville spinoffs this entire season. And my computer was in dire need of repair last night, so I didn't get to spin, so we'll be doing that later. But come read my stuff, watch the shows, do the things. Send a message to me. It's easy to send a message to this one instead of one of my alts, because then I have to keep jumping out to different pages and stuff, and I have some people that are doing that, so this is how to contact me. But yeah. And Ratatosker was so overwhelmed by last night's news from New York City Comic Con that he's just dead to the world today. That's why he wasn't here tonight. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He overexcited and overindulged.
It's okay. Just a squirrel. I so So when I am not plotting the demise of Leo Pond, you can find me on Instagram, go Spider-Man 1984. I'm Drew Malo on Facebook. I'm here every Tuesday because of poor life decisions. And now I'm locked into an indefinite contract, you know. So when someone, that looks like Leo wants to talk to you about a deal, the answer is just like Ronald Reagan, say no. No, but
Are
love
you
being
are you saying I'm
no,
Mephisto?
no, no, no.
Mephisto?
But we
Mephisto.
both of you. This is my exit intro. This is my outro.
Yes, dear.
Stop. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, working on a lot, just generally busy, but always time to talk to people, whatever, all that jazz. So hit me up. I might get back to you. It might take me a minute, but I'll do my best. And you keep on keeping on.
Awesome. With that, we'll catch you later. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Night, everybody.